And we're going to just give you a countdown, Nikki. And
Okay.
You start when you're ready.
Okay.
On 2.
Oh, wow.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, Hunter. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We're really glad to have you in Santa Barbara.
Likewise.
So where are you from?
Well, originally I'm from, like now I'm based in Flagstaff, Arizona, but originally I was born in Tuba City, Arizona. But I grew up, when I was born,
Hold on, we're going to start that over again. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
That's all right.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I
Okay.
guess you all sound beautiful.
Go ahead.
Okay, and ready, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hunter, how are you this morning?
Doing very well.
Welcome to Santa Barbara.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
And where are you from?
Flagstaff, Arizona, but I was born on a Navajo reservation, a place called Tuba City, which, you know, I don't know if too many people are familiar with, but I was born there, and I grew up in Salt Lake City for 14, 15 years and lived in Billings, Montana for 3. Came back to Arizona in '97, and Flagstaff is where I make my home now.
You've been all over the place.
Yeah, like the States anyway, and parts of Canada and Mexico. I still yet have to adventure off into the great, over the waters and all that. But I've been, quite a few places.
We were talking a little bit about your work as an artist, both a poet, a musician. Tell us a little bit about what got you on the path of music and art.
Well, I think what really led me to the path in that was just kind of seeing, kind of from what, my experience of growing up and just where I was coming from, and really, having, a fondness for music in general. But as you're a kid, when I was a kid, I didn't really expect to be doing what I'm doing now. It's just when maybe as I got my teenage years, when I was really influenced a lot by well, I've always been influenced by music, but like a lot of my friends, I mean, they were really into like punk, like punk rock, and it was a big movement in Utah. I mean, it was like, because anybody who's from Utah can relate, like, if aside from being what it is known for, I mean, underneath it all, I mean, not too many people know like too much about the subculture and all that goes on there. But as a kid, I mean, there was a big swing of just music in general, and hip hop and punk rock. I mean, they were kind of like together. They were like one and the same, and everybody listened to it. I mean, and it's not the kind of stuff that you hear today that that people call punk and hip hop today. It was more of like more hard, and it was more down to earth and more like just like down to earth, kind of like the lyrics and everything with what they were talking about at the time. I mean, that was a time of Reaganomics and all that, and so all this, there was people were looking, such as myself, for like looking for an outlet to kind of just kind of address what we felt and what was going on in our communities and the reality of our surroundings. And as a kid, that's kind of what I guess led me to, this realm. It's led me to now. I mean, it started off just as a gift. I mean, my mom bought me my first guitar. I was acoustic, but I don't know. I without asking her, she kind of took it upon to buy me one. And from there, I kind of just realized, that's, I wanted to kind of, explore and learn how to play like the song that I wanted to play and the style that I wanted to play. And from there, that's kind of really where it took off. I mean, from just like anybody, I guess, sitting in your room and just, imitating, like what you liked and what you sounded like, and from there, it just kind of, without, keep doing it, every chance I got, practice and all that, and it led me to a broader spectrum, a real spectrum of stuff. I mean, growing up and knowing what I saw on TV and radio is really not like, I mean, from the get-go, I always knew like that wasn't something that is what it's all about. There's something more in depth and deep that needs to happen, and especially with art. And it wasn't until I came back to Arizona that I started meeting a lot of artists. I mean, really influential artists, like native artists and non-native artists, just artists who really took that, who really, painted and they sculpted and they made music on what they're going through on their daily living, on their life, like happening on in the world today, and it was more than just looking at a painting. I mean, you saw it, but you knew it was like something very like trying to, you know, let you address an issue that's going on, or reality, you know what I mean? More than just what you know, an art or music for sale or whatever, because I mean, from the get-go, I always knew like it was more than, you know, music is underneath. I mean, from what we've been, you know, supposedly trained to know. Like, you turn on the TV, you turn on the radio, and oh yeah, you know, the song sounds great and all that. But ever since as a you know, young age, I always knew music had to be about, you know, the underprivileged, the underdog, you know, the oppressed, you know, all the things that people who didn't know, or people who were living under these conditions lived, you know, something, you know, a voice, you know, somebody has to kind of take it upon, you know, the responsibility to like, you know, address these concerns, you know.
And we were talking before the show about the power of music, not only as a form of expression and artistic creativity, but also the power to affect change. And if we have young people in the audience, which we hope we do, what message would you have for them as they're coming up in this world that we live in now?
I think I would just tell them, you know, sing about what you know, where you're coming from, you know, sing and talk about like stuff that really affects you deeply, you know, inside, and be original, you know. Don't try to copy anybody, you know, because I mean you're going somewhere else if you're trying to. I mean there's so much sound in music out there that is unheard of, that it just needs people, certain people that to grab it and to, you know, be a transistor and let it flow out of them. You know, there's ideas and there's so much stuff out there that's floating out in the atmosphere and in the universe right now, that it's just waiting for the right kind of person, the right kind of people to acknowledge it. So you know what I mean, and to, you know, let it come out of you, you know. And you know, there's a saying that very early on, when I first started getting into a lot more like world music, like playing percussions and stuff, you know, started playing with a lot of reggae bands and world-oriented music, you know, like that was kind of where I really knew, like, words, sound, and power, you know, like you have a powerful message that speaks on a lot of reality, that speaks on a lot of stuff, and you have you know, it creates a sound that like everyone can relate to, draws people together, and the power that comes from it, you know. So it's called word, sound, and power, you know. It's kind of like, you know, it's like a fist, you know, it hits you of, you know, of something that people, you know, like you're not going to hear this on the radio, and you're not going to hear it on like MTV or VH1 or none of that. You're only going to hear it only in that moment in time, you know, with these people, and if they have, you know, and the music that they create. I mean, you know, like that's still, you know, you're only going to hear it if you get a CD from them, you know, in your car, or only at shows and stuff like that, you know. So, you know, to all the people out there, I would just tell them, you know, just, you know, sing about what you know, and you know, just let it out, you know. Don't be afraid, you know, because that's what they want you to do. A lot of times is a lot of time young kids, musicians, you know, they really take a thing for it, and first thing they want to do is get a record deal and you know, be rich and famous and all that. And you know, that's nothing wrong with that, you know, but I always tell them, there's so much more that's going to make so much, it's going to stand out a lot more. It's going to stand the test of time. I mean, you know, if you get a record deal, I mean, there's so many people out there that like their ambition is just to be rich and famous, and it never happens. And then the ones that do happen, I mean, like, that's pretty much it. I mean, this is what I wanted to do, but then in reality, you know, where they were coming from, or their community, where they're originally from, or whatever, you know, that's still, conditions still remain the same. People, you know, like, you know, even in our own country, like right now, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, if all the great poets and artists could come together, you know, and just have one, you know, and just, you know, as to oppose of having a bunch of politicians and conservative kind of type people kind of like tell people, oh, this is what you need to be, you know, and you have like all the artists over here, you know, teaching kids to like use their mind, you know, and then you know, I guarantee you a lot of the kids are gonna like listen to more of the poets and the artists and stuff, because it's something creative, and they really, you know, maybe, you know, the creative spirit, it's kind of, you know, I think it just takes one person really, one strong person, one powerful person to kind of really make a difference, to realize, wow, man, I can do this, you know. And as for me too, that's really what it took, was one person, you know. I mean, you know, a couple shows where I seen some amazing people, you know, as a kid, as a youth growing up, you know, like people that I was influenced by, and seeing them and knowing, like, you know, it's not about money, you know, it's not about fame or none of that. It's really about doing what you love, and for the love of humanity, for the love of your people, your culture, and for the love of the earth. I mean, you know, I think you know, we can't disconnect ourselves and categorize ourselves as just being artists or like native artists, you know, because I mean, I am a native, but you know, I don't consider my music as being native music, you know, or who I play with is native people or native music, you know. I consider it, you know, music that represents and symbolizes like human intelligence, you know, human culture and human identity, you know, the breath of us all, you know. And I don't really, you know, categorize any as like, you know, this is native music, Native American music, or this is reggae is, you know, like African music, or none of that. You know, music is music, and it's the lifeblood of all people. It's just that you know, it's just we're all coming from different places, you know, and it's the sound and it's the heartbeat of us all. I mean, we all have a heartbeat, you know, we all have our own sound and our own tone, but it's really, it's the earth cultures, you know, with the drums and you know, a lot the voice and how you use it is really like you're symbolizing, you know, your ancestors, you know, all ancestors, you know, from, you know. And it's not about the color of your skin or nothing. It's about your mind, you know, what you have up inside and inside, you know, your soul and all that, because that's something that's always, you know, that's something that's always categorized from everything else. You know, it's always about, you know, the music and you know, your native music or you know, but it's you know, it's so much more than that. To me, it's so much more than that. I mean, it's to, you know, to tell you the truth, I don't even really care about none of that, you know, like, you know, because you know, like if people know who you are, you know, because, you know, you carry a strong message and you carry a positive message that people can relate to, you know, and especially the people that really need to relate to it, you know, the ones that are deprived, the ones that, you know, don't really get a chance, don't really have nothing, you know, that, you know, those are the ones that are really, you know, have the power already inside them because of the situations they're coming from, you know. And to the ones that, you know, that do have it, you know, I think, you know, that they can also, like, with what they got, you know, they can do so much more, you know, they can help out people, you know, like, you know, they can, you know, just combine forces and just kind of look beyond all the hype, you know, look behind all the, you know, what you see, you know, like, you know, the physical, the material, and realize that everything is spiritual. I mean, it doesn't matter what religion you are, even if you are religious, or even if you do go to any kind of church. I mean, even if, you know, if you love being happy, you know, if you love, you know, see the sunrise, if you just love life in general, I mean, that's, to me, that's being holy, that's being, you know, religious, you know, taking care of yourself and being, you know, knowing that tomorrow brings a whole new day, you know, and, you know, everything starts over, you know, nothing, you know what I mean? I mean, no matter how bad the situation is, how stressful, you know, our days become, it's like tomorrow's a brand new day and it starts all over again, you know, like a sand painting, you know, you gotta wipe the sand away, and, you know, start all over, you know, it takes so much time to create it, but when it's all said and done, you know, everything goes back to, you know, brand new again, you know, so, you know, so that's pretty much what I could say to a lot of the younger people out there.
Thank you. And we talk about renewal and a brand new day, and it seems like as an artist, you're continuously renewing yourself. New things are born all the time. You started out with the guitar. I know you've picked up the flute also, percussion. We enjoyed your performance last night with Casper and Rude Awakening. You were on percussion last night, and you also do spoken word work. And today you're going to share some of those gifts with us. Tell us a little bit about what you have planned to share with us today.
Well,
or not planned.
Well, pretty much whatever you guys, you know, had in mind. I mean, I can definitely share you some of my own words, some of my own thoughts and feelings on this day and age, and share with you a little bit, you know, of flute music as well too, and just kind of elaborate more and get people out there who are watching a better understanding and just kind of realize I mean, like I was saying before, like with with like the flute in general, for instance, I mean, and with Casper, I mean, like when I do a lot of shows with them, I mean, we do native shows, non-native shows, big festivals and stuff, and it's kind of funny, like a lot of times when we go to the native shows with a lot of well-known like native artists who do call themselves native artists and native performers and who are in that genre, like the contemporary kind of stuff. We've done a lot of shows with a lot of well-known people, and they kind of like a lot of times they kind of freak out, like the people kind of freak out because we're kind of like we're just ordinary people. I mean, we're not like, we're native, but we're not like, we're not all about the beads and feathers and all that, just because primarily, I mean, that's kind of like who we are. I mean, like as Casper and I mean, it's kind of like who we are, and it's, we don't, like, to me personally, I don't want to like, it doesn't, I mean, there's already enough people kind of already doing that, and it's kind of like maybe that's their role, but for us, we're, like I was saying, we're like underneath it, we're like the underground, we're coming from where the power is, the source, like the core inside the earth, the flame, like, and we don't got to be like, let people know, hey, yeah, we're native, look at us, and like when I play the flute or none of that, I mean, I'll just play how I look, and we'll go out and we'll just perform and do it, and and kind of there's a couple times where we've gone to a few native shows, and you have people there that they, because they see Casper's name and it says from Hopi Land, Native, and Native American Music Award winner, and they expect, they've never seen the show or never even heard the music, but they've heard the name, and when they come see the show, they expect a whole lot, like a whole bunch of dances and a lot of this stuff, and then and then they hear the music, oh, it's reggae, wow, and then it's like, wow, these guys are native. They expect, I don't know really what they expect, but they expect, like, because it says native, like, they want to see a lot of that stuff. But in actuality, I mean, we're being, as true to our culture as anything, just by being who we are, without, none of that. I mean, it's just the word and the sound, that creates the power that generates, that brings people together, and a lot of times, I mean, we've done these shows and like we've done non-native shows too, like we've done reggae festivals, straight up reggae festivals where we're playing with a lot of the heavy hitters in the reggae world, and the next day we'll be at some big old gathering, some powwow or whatever, and it's kind of cool to see, and it just makes just makes me realize, like, that's why we symbolize music for everybody, we represent everybody. I mean, we're not, we're tribal people, but we're just, we're urban, we're casual, we're, what I mean, we got a message, we're coming from the concrete Babylon, the cement prairie, I mean, that's where we're coming from, so it's kind of a part of us. I mean, we just, be who we are, we don't need to dress up and to impress all these people, I think the music speaks for itself, if anything,
That's right, it speaks for itself, and it has a power to unify all people. And if people or viewers want to get in touch with you or learn more about your work, how can they find you?
Well, as far as music goes, I'm still in the process. Been in the process for many years, working on my own stuff. But Casper does he has a website, which is www.thirdmesa.com, which is 3RD, and there's pictures of me on there with him on some of the shows and stuff. There's an organization out of Flagstaff that I've kind of been helping out. It's called SaveThePeaks.org, and what that is an environmental organization in Flagstaff. We're kind of fighting with the Forest Service and the Snow Bowl, which is a locally owned ski resort, which just recently, a couple weeks ago, the Forest Service of Northern Arizona, Coconino County, actually passed this resolution to make artificial snow out of wastewater, reclaimed wastewater, and which basically that means is they want to expand the ski resort, but because it's in Arizona, I mean, you don't really get that much snow, and they do have a ski resort there. So due to due to climate change, like it's and global warming, I mean, the snow there has been depleting over the last years, and so what they were proposing to do is to build this pipeline and use this the wastewater of Flagstaff to to mix it in and make fake snow, artificial snow, so that they can keep it open pretty much all year round if they want to. And the Forest Service just passed this, so the SaveThePeaks.org is something that's been out there the last couple of years now. It's a grassroots organization, and I kind of help out every now and then when I can. And also the Sierra Club in Arizona and Flagstaff has been very influential, and it's pretty, to me, like knowing, being involved in a lot of, activist stuff and being in music, it's kind of the same, really. I mean, it's really the same struggle, and it's really the same kind of world. And I mean, it goes hand in hand. I mean, if people, it's a good way to educate people too who don't know too much about a lot of issues. Environmental issues is putting together a show, a big show, and people that are like on point on a lot of stuff. I mean, get a lot of people aware. So, SaveThePeaks.org is one of them. Third Mason Music is one of them. And PeaksProductions.com, which is a friend of mine from Flagstaff. He kind of does he's independent kind of promoter, and he does a lot of shows, a lot of native talent, and kind of like the same scenario, like a lot of good bands, a lot of good music coming from like the Res, coming from the city that has a powerful message and stuff. I mean, it's pretty much like the native music that is underneath it all, underneath all the the hype, the glitter, and the feathers and all that. Like it's underneath all that stuff. It's just the music, and I kind of they can find more information about me there as well, because I do a lot of I volunteer as well too. So that's where people kind of know me from and stuff.
Great. Well, Hunter, thank you so much for sharing your time with us and your gifts. And we're really delighted to have you.
Likewise. Likewise. Thank you very much to Santa Barbara and to RedRocks TV show for having us. And it's a beautiful thing when you're able to go places you've never been before, and people really like the music and feel it, because we're the way we look at it, I know Casper for sure, and myself and a lot of us, like the way we look at it is, we're living in a very crucial time in our lives right now, and we're very fortunate, and also we're very we're kind of we're very fortunate to be alive and to be living now, but we're going to see magnificent change, which we've already been coming to. I mean with the earth, with the environment, with people, with just the way things are, with the powers that be. I mean, it's just with what's been going on. I mean, you look at the media and stuff, and you see a lot of destruction, a lot of strife, a lot of just sadness going on in the world, and it's all due to just closed minds, ignorance. It's due to greed and power, and like with we have no control over, like with the tsunami stuff. I mean, that's like Mother Earth trying to tell her children, trying to tell us, like we need to, we've forgotten about our responsibility to her. We've it's all about money now. People, like coming on the train, you can see a lot of the oil stuff up on the beaches and stuff, and like with the whole Anwar thing now, Bush just, with the whole Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, like with, they're trying to, the Bush administration already passed a law that's going to go up there and start, drilling oil and all that, so like, we're going to see a lot more stuff like that, but at the same time, that's why I encourage all of you guys out there who are tired of just not doing anything, tired of just letting people get away with pretty much whatever they want, with environmental racism, with environmental injustices, I think, it's our responsibility as people in general and as human beings to, let our voice be heard, let it be known, so that, we know as people that what they are doing, is not right, fundamentally not right, and spiritually not right. And, and if people who are fond of being artists and being musicians, that's, there's so much stuff out there that needs to be addressed, and so much stuff that needs to be said upon, and you have the gift, you have that flame inside you, and it's your responsibility to see for yourself where you're coming from, and to address it out to the world, because that's really what changes, I mean, it starts from yourself and your community, but if you're right on and you got something to say that's very meaningful, truthful, and it's never been heard before, then you know, that's going to go around the world, and people are going to take to it, you know,
Yep.
without, you know, no question there. I mean, people will hear it, you know.
Thank you so much
Well,
again, Hunter.
thank you.
Really
Thank you
glad
very
to have
much.
you here in Santa Barbara. Wish you a safe journey back home. to
Oh, yeah,
Flagstaff.
thank you.
We hope to see you again soon.
I hope to be back soon.
And thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay.
You need to, Hunter, you didn't talk about where you're from. Did you talk about did you mention Navajo?
I did.
Mention the N-word? E?
The N-word. I did. A little bit, yeah.
Do you remember, Nikki?
Yeah, actually.
Okay. I was just joking. All right.
Arizona?
Yeah.
Let's do an intro to some music. We'll just say okay, and now Hunter's gonna
Okay.
play some music for us, and then do an out to that.
Look into camera 1 or 2.
No, we're gonna go 2.
Yeah,
Two.
okay.
Okay. Okay, and 5, 4, 3, 2.
And now we'll enjoy the gift of music from Hunter.
Okay, we're gonna do that again.
Okay.
Hunter, take your hand down from your chin. And are you giving your last name, Hunter?
RedDay. RedDay.
Okay, I'm sorry. I should have asked you that.
Okay, that's okay. So look at him first, and then turn to the camera.
Okay.
Okay, and 5, 4, 3, 2.
And now we'll enjoy the gift of music with Hunter RedDay.
Okay, great. And we're gonna come out of it with you both looking at the camera. Okay. And 5, 4. Is there anything else that we haven't covered that we can ask him a question right now?
Yeah, in the intro, I didn't give his first name.
Well, Hunter.
Well,
I mean,
no, we're gonna
his-
do, no, we
your
haven't
first-
gonna really do an intro. I'm
You're
just
right.
gonna switch
Okay.
the camera for
Great. Okay. So we're coming out of the music.
Can you say something about Peabody, Hunter?
Yeah, I could say quite a few things.
Okay, let's just make it a short answer because we're getting close to our time here.
Yeah,
So just
good
come out,
idea.
Nikki, come out. You both on camera.
Good
too.
idea.
Come out looking from the camera and look at Hunter and
Okay.
ask him about lead into. Do you know about Peabody Coal? Yeah. Nikki.
I'll ask him
Okay.
a question about
All
it.
right. Ready? And 5, 4, 3, 2.
Thank you, Hunter. Can you tell me a little bit about Peabody?
Peabody Western Coal Company.
Yes.
Well, Peabody is it's a multinational corporation coal company, and which the only operation in the U.S. is located in the neck country, Hopi land, Black Mesa, and they've been there since the early 50s when they first found large quantities of coal, and pretty much it's been there ever since. It's a very serious issue that a lot of the grassroots people in general, people from Big Mountain and Black Mesa area have been fighting ever since its incarnation. But just recently, I mean, you know, these problems, you know, get worse and have gotten worse, and so a lot more people have been coming up, forming coalitions, forming, you know, different organizations to address the whole situation, and pretty much it's really about the water and also, you know, as far as the coal, because Peabody, what they do is they slurry coal, you know, they mine it, they slurry it with water, and this water is purest water. I mean, it's from the Navajo Aquifer, which is right underneath Black Mesa, and it's the sole source of drinking water has been for thousands of years for the Diné and Hopi people who use that water for their, you know, for their livestock, for themselves, for their, you know, their families. And this is like you know, this water kind of predates like dinosaur era, when the whole earth was changing, and this water is kind of the purest of its kind, and that's the water that Peabody uses to slurry the coal, and they slurry it about 273 miles from Black Mesa, and they slurry it to Mojave Generating Station in Laughlin, Nevada, and the water is pretty much one great big basis of the whole movement in general, is because, you know, water is life, and a lot of people are kind of, they don't want to, you know, are finally realizing what the, you know, because the water tables around the land have dried up over the last 20 years. I mean, dried up. And we've been there for thousands of years and been depleted, and a lot of the elderly people in Hopi and Navajo have been questioning this, you know, like the last 15 years, you know, all the water's drying up, you know, and finding out that like Peabody is kind of responsible because of the, you know, underneath it, you know, by just sucking it dry and stirring the coal and all that, and that's just kind of another struggle that a lot of people been fighting and been raising this issue on many forefronts. But the whole Peabody thing goes, it's pretty in depth and pretty, you know, I mean, it's pretty interesting when you really learn about it, because it's so much more than just environmental. Because Peabody is actually, I mean, it's the Navajo Nation gets, you know, a large part of their revenue, and so does the Hopi. They get a large part of the revenue from Peabody, you know, I mean, from Peabody,
right.
from leases and all that, broken leases. And so it's kind of hard for tribal leaders, you know, from both tribes to kind of make a stance, because, I mean, really that's where they're getting their paycheck from, is from Peabody. I mean, in actuality, it's coming from this corporation and stuff. So the only people that are really against it is grassroots people, are like the elders and the people, you know, students and different people who are trying to save it, but like saving it in you know, trying to go through the courts, but also just trying to get the message out there, you know, that Peabody is doing this and have been doing it and will continue to do it until there is no water left, and till the very last drop is gone, and, you know, all the coal until they're satisfied. Then, you know, probably, you know, they might think about stopping, you know, and because Peabody started it off, but right now on the Four Corners there's another power plant that's been proposed too. Another coal-fired power plant that's been proposed, and Navajo Nation just approved it to go ahead with it, and it's going to be on the banks of the San Juan River in New Mexico, Four Corners area, and that's kind of like the same thing as Peabody, but it's going to be more, you know, it's going to be on the other side. It's going to be on the eastern side of the reservation in New Mexico, and it's kind of like round and round we go, you know. And but Peabody is the biggest one, and when you really look into it, you know, like you know, Peabody had a bad rep in Virginia, you know, like years ago, 20 years ago, and they kind of, you know, they were able to shut them down. But unfortunately, the only one that still exists in this Western Hemisphere, I mean, Peabody has operations all throughout the world. The only one that still exists in this part of the world is located on Dine and Hopi land, Black Mesa. And to anybody that wants to get more informed on it, they can also go to www.blackmesawatercoalition.org, and it has all the information and how to get involved and different affiliates and all that.
Well, thank you so much for letting us know more about that here.
I'm sorry. We're going to go into a little clip from regarding that. So can we just we'll go camera one and and just say, and you brought a video clip to show us regarding.
Okay.
I'm going to show Mother Water.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. And
thank you, and thank you for bringing the clip to share with us. We're now going to view a clip called Mother Water about what Hunter just shared with us.
Let's do that again. I messed up.
Okay.
Camera one. Camera one. No, you're good.
You're on two.
Okay, look at one.
5,
Okay.
4, 3, 2.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'd also like to thank Hunter for bringing a clip titled Mother Water that we're going to share with you.
Okay, let's just come out of that and say, and that was Mother Water, and then we're going to thank Hunter.
Okay.
What's his last name?
Hold on just a second.
Okay.
And 5, 4, 3, 2.
And that was Mother Water. Thank you, Hunter, for joining us today here on Red Rocks.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to come out and switch camera. One, hold on.
Okay.
That's going great. We're just going to switch the camera for the intro. And because you're not really centered up on this.
Okay.
Well, thank you for asking me these questions. I've been out of the loop for a while myself, and I'm just like, oh yeah, get my brain going.
You're just going to have to look more at the camera.
Okay, that's fine.
Actually, yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Hey.
Oh, Niki, look at me. Sorry.
That's okay.
I was focusing. My eyes aren't very good anymore. Don't do that, Michael. Drives you crazy.
That green hand.
Yes. It's like, how does that? How does that look? Did you set it up on that?
Okay, let me go back to your on.
Okay, we're gonna do the intro, so we'll come in on camera 1 and introduce yourself. Welcome to RedRocks.
Okay.
And then introduce Hunter, and then just introduce yourself to face him again. All right?
Okay.
And you're leaning a little bit, Nikki. Just sit back in your chair.
Better?
Yeah, I guess it's just a camera angle. Okay, so yeah, so just, that's perfect.
Yeah, okay, I know exactly what's going on. Yeah, now I'm better
So
centered.
just,
Okay.
you're a little off center. Move a little bit to your left. There you go. That's
Okay.
it right there. So yeah, so intro on 1 and then to Hunter.
Okay.
Ready, camera 2. And 5, 4, 3, 2.
Haku, welcome to RedRocks. I'm Niki Sandoval, your host. Today we're delighted to have Hunter RedDay joining us. Hello Hunter, how are you?
Doing very well. Thank you all for having me. I'm honored.
Thank you.
Okay, great. We're going to do our exit.
Okay,
And again, we'll go on camera 1.
okay,
And then just thank Hunter.
okay.
Okay? And, camera 2. Okay, camera 1, ready, camera 2. And 5, 4, 3, 2.
Thank you Hunter for joining us here today. And thank you for joining us on RedRocks.
Okay, sorry, let's do that again. Let's go on camera 2 and ready, 1.
Okay.
And 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hunter RedDay, thank you for joining us on RedRocks.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.
And thank you for joining us today on RedRocks. I'm Niki Sandoval, your host. Until next time.
Okay, let's do that again. A little more pep.
Okay, that's all right.
Just straight.
I'll pep it up.
Enjoy yourself, damn it.
Okay.
And 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hunter RedDay, thank you so much for joining us today on RedRocks.
Well, thank you for having me. I was honored. My pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us today on RedRocks. I'm Niki Sandoval, your host. Until next time.
Hold on. I think what we need to do is actually just turn your whole body.
Okay, like this?
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. And just do that. Okay. All right. There.
Alright, just do the, let's do the exit.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna do the intro and exit because it's just a lot nicer shot. So,
Okay.
We'll do the intro first,
All right.
and we're gonna camera 1 and ready camera 2. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Haku, welcome to RedRocks. I'm Niki Sandoval, your host. Today we're joined by Hunter RedDay. Hello Hunter, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thank you all for having me. It's an
Okay, we're
honor.
good. I'll just edit that, sorry.
Yeah, thanks. You know what? I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then,
Then I'll do the
let's do our exit.
exit.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. And
Into
you can
1.
just start looking at Hunter. We're going to be on camera 2 and then look into the camera for the.
Is my body all right though?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
And 5, 4, 3, 2. 1, 8. Okay, we're gonna go on. We're going out. Exit.
Okay.
And we're on camera 2.
Oh, so I'm going to exit on camera 2.
No, you're just gonna say goodbye to him and then go to camera 1.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
And you just shifted your body.
Okay. How's that? Did I mess up?
Okay, and
Okay.
yeah, and 5, 4,
Okay.
3, 2.
Thank you, Hunter, for joining us today on Red Rocks.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us today. Until next time, I'm Niki Sandoval, your host.
Okay, we just do that again. Just
Sure.
do, and I'm Niki Sandoval, your host on
Okay.
camera 1.
Okay.
And 5, 4, 3, 2.
I'm Niki Sandoval, your host.
Let's do that. Welcome to Red Rocks. I'm Niki Sandoval.
Okay.
Until next time.
All right.
And 5, 4, 3, 2.
Thank you for joining us today on Red Rocks. I'm Niki Sandoval, your host. Until next time.
Great. Okay.
That's okay?
But he's going to do his music.
Great.
Thank
Okay, and 5, 4. Hold on. Camera on 2. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, we're going to start that over again. Sorry. And it was our technical. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, great. See the next instrument. Remember where your feet were?
No. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. things to Michael. Okay, go ahead and put your flute up to your mouth. Hunter? Yeah, so I can get your shot here. And it's gonna be extreme. Okay. I'm going to give you a countdown. Okay, and 5, 4, 3, 2.